welcome everybody. We're close to 30 people now here from around Nordic and Baltic area, and also a couple of people from further south, where the daylight is a bit more now, and also the temperature is higher. At least in Finland, it's a miserable weather today. My name is Jukka Lindberg. I have been in touch with most of you at some stage, and I've been involved with CEFEC for most part of 10 years, and as a representative of Finland here. And I work for a small expert organization promoting the employment of disabilities in Finland. And as part of that, social enterprises and social firms are one of the key focus areas, and also on my table. So in terms of today, I hope you now see the agenda. So we say a few words here, which already passed the time and I should have finished, but I'll actually show just a bit of background here on this. So actually 5 minutes is probably a bit too short for that. But idea is that I have a couple of slides here to explain why we sort of want to work more together, and also a bit of the structure that we've been working on here that might be helpful. In terms of historically here, I mean, I can share this later, but the point is, of course, that the social enterprising, working in social enterprising here in the sort of crossroads of civil society, business and government and public sector, and different sort of approaches here. This is something we are sort of, we are running a study of research on sort of this area and making a big analysis. And that means that we sort of come into the ecosystem level. Sorry to jump from slide to slide, but there's not possible to go here. And there is a structure that we have been sort of developing, and a lot of this comes from the European ecosystem mapping country by country for social enterprising, which MS Network of Research has sort of produced for EU Commission. And my colleague Harri Kostelainen, who's a researcher in Finland, and myself, we have been developing this to specifically focus on work integration, further integration, social enterprises, and how to analyze this. So it's a question of policy, legislation, and ecosystem levels, what to do where. And so we created a framework to more efficiently learn from others and to sort of create cooperation and to sort of build models and to see also where different countries or different regions are and how to best utilize those to mutually develop. That means that in this Nordic Baltic region, we have a strong mutual history, and of course it's a couple of, I mean, we don't share the same language. For instance, we have this sort of Scandinavian languages. We get Finnish and Estonian related, and then we have Latvian and Lithuanian languages, which are different. But we have a mutual history. I think most countries have at one time or another have been part of Sweden, actually. So Sweden has been the dominating force. We also have our history is sort of full of incidents with the two big strong neighbors, Germany and Russia, and different countries have a different sort of an experience on that. I think Sweden actually probably is the only country in this region that on Iceland and Sweden have never been occupied by Germany, for instance, but and a lot of us have been occupied by Russia for a time or another. Then there was a completely different development after the World War II for Baltic region and Nordic region, different roles and positions in the world, in the world sort of politics. And then, of course, the rise of the Nordic social democratic-based welfare society model, and obviously social system in the Baltic countries, which sort of turned into a sort of more business and private ownership focused model from 1990 onwards, which of course is now converging because the Nordic countries are moving in that direction as well. And there's different approaches to social enterprise and work integration. From all these points I mentioned here already: legislation, governmental programs, certification, which can be external or internal, networks, support structures, benefits, etc. And so the purpose of regional networking is to obviously learn from others, to create and sort of learn tools for advocacy work, lobbying and influencing in our own countries, and of course to prepare for the European project funding at the new period, sort of find core partners in the region and of course elsewhere in Europe as well. And I'll finish off here just sort of showing what we're doing. I mean, this is not very, but this is kind of basic. So one area is the social strategy for social enterprising, if there is one in a country or not. I know that, for instance, in Denmark there is one, in Sweden there is one, in Finland ministry is working on it. We work together with them, and this is a sort of a basis that has been prepared by a colleague of mine for the ministry, and then we have been taking those which are circled with those green, blue, or red lines here as a focus of our work here to see how we can sort of, for instance, develop business skills, impact investing is a government issue, and all those. So this is kind of the structure where I can sort of send obviously this material and a bit more background information to everybody afterwards, but to just explain where I can see there's a huge potential in mutual cooperation. And with this, I will now then sort of hand over to, I think Felicitas is taking now, unless Vasi has something technical to say. And so Felicitas, the president of the organization, and CEFEC will have explained a bit about CEFEC.
So welcome from my part as well. My name is Vasi Gafiuk. I'm the General Secretary of Social Firms Europe CEFEC since 2012. And it's really nice to see a part of you that I already met and some partners and friends. And I hope it will be a fruitful webinar for everybody. It's not a public one. It's more like Jukka mentioned, a close between Nordic partners. And we hope in the future we will have some results and further projects and cooperation. I'm in charge to inform you some technical aspects. I think mostly of you know, because this pandemic situation put us in the front of the desktop and we have to do Zoom, many Zoom per day. But it's good to mention that if you are not a speaker, please close down your or mute your microphone. If you want to address questions for speakers, please type them on the chat function and we will answer at the end of the session. By the way, we have already one question for Jukka, if he can put the full the SharePoint on the presentation. I mean, to have a full screen. The webinar will also be streamed live on our Facebook page. So it will be, it's live right now on Facebook / Social Firms Europe CEFEC. So you can share the link among your peers. And the event, it will be recorded. So after this session, you will receive the link for YouTube in order to use it for your purpose, like dissemination or to showing your on your report as well. So I hope everything it's fine, it's going well, and please let us to know if it's something going wrong. Thank you and enjoy this afternoon. Felicitas.
Thank you, Vasi. So, hello from everyone. My name is Felicitas Kresimon. I'm German in Italy. And actually, I'm the president of Social Firms Europe CEFEC. I know a lot of you, but not everyone. So welcome to all CEFEC partners, but also partners of collaboration, which take part today in this webinar. So during the last months, and more in generally, not only as a result of social and economic emergency experienced by all of us, Social Firms Europe CEFEC enhanced its activities between members and other actors of social economy in order to highlight the need of solidarity and in the same time to strengthen and expand connections and opportunities to cooperation. So it is also in this perspective and according to our vision that we propose this moment to explore the possibilities of increasing our collaborations, also in order to strengthening our social economic policies and cooperation practices. So as Jukka anticipated and also Vasi, my job is now to very shortly in 5 minutes to tell you something about CEFEC. And so I will share my presentation with you. So maybe the first thing I should say when I'm starting with the presentation is that all activities that CEFEC implemented in his 35 years of existence now are starting from its mission. It's very important because all other activities and actions part from the idea to create opportunities for supporting and encouraging the development of social firms and social cooperatives or social enterprise, as more said today, around Europe, in order to give to more people who, because of disability or these other forms of disadvantage, face severe barriers to enter the labor market, should get access to employment. So all other activities I will shortly present to you now start from this mission, from this vision, of this idea, which was carried on by this today increasing, of course, in the years. During the years, 59 members from 22 countries, which are in social forms, which employ around 20,000, if not more, I would say, as we have a lot of umbrella organizations too, employ people coming from these more vulnerable groups. And today we focus on, as you see, on the Nordic and Baltic countries. So we have we have precisely 10 partners from Nordic and Baltic countries. You see from Finland, but also Sweden and Lithuania actual. So you have an idea what is the network actually active come CEFEC. And no, not fine, but next slide. Okay, so what are the main, very short words about which are the main activities of CEFEC? CEFEC promotes a model of social firms and social enterprises all over Europe, on European, national and regional level. We try to facilitate networking and share our best practices between members, as also Jukka mentioned before. We try to share skills and expertises of members, encourage and explore opportunities for further research into the social firms model. We are doing also research activities, promote and facilitate possible intertrading opportunities between different social business, to support social firms, startups of social firms, and to be a voice also for our members on European level about the topics which are regarding the policies regarding social economy and social enterprise, especially on European level. Supporting the cooperation concretely then in the framework of EU funds. We define some priorities between 2020 and 2021, which is working mostly on wet programs in order to transfer of know-how and expertises, the employment of, for example, around the topics of employment of needs, but another important topic we started to work on with our social firms and umbrella organizations is a topic of employment of migrants. As job learning, but also including in the job. Green economy, of course, as social innovation and recycling topic, and digital enterprises, circular economy. And objective we focused more on during the last two or 3 years is the work of lobby and advocacy on EU level for the funding period on one hand 2021, but also to be an active part in the actual discussions and legal framework decisions the EU Commission is taking through the development of different action plans. Two important for us is the action plan on European Pillar of Social Rights, and another one, on this one, the Commission is working right now, and also the action plan, which will be developed next year more in the program is to develop in the first half of next year, the action plan of social economy. Inside CEFEC, we work with different strategies to this. We work with by workshops, especially in the last weeks and months. We strengthen very much this work and trying to work more also on the participation aspect of all competences and members of CEFEC. Especially we focus on these three main topics of international cooperation, opening our projects and intervention also beyond the borders of Europe, with Africa, for example, or other regions in the world. The topic of refugees and migrants and green economy, and then we have other working groups like a research working group, Linsapil, and the award, and the work on heritage, and the work with other important partners like EDF. We have workshops where our members express and cooperate to express a strategy and work with concrete actions on these topics. And of course, a very important activity is the one of promotion of projects using different European funds like Erasmus Plus and or SFA or AMI, for example, actually fundings with the idea to connect and networking between CEFEC members on one hand, and to support the cooperation in to support our members in the framework of EU forms, and mainly, of course, to transform our values and missions into concrete activities and practices. So to pass from thinking and talking about things to create concrete activities. Another important activity for all these years has been the annual organization of a conference of CEFEC. Changing from year to year, the conference is prepared by another partner country, with the idea also to support every year in a specific country the processes of social enterprise and social economy developing, involving from time to time public authorities, other territorial network actors. For the next year, our 35th annual conference should take place in Brussels. We thought in a first moment in May, but not in March. But as every one of you can imagine, the actual COVID situation will not allow us to have probably a present conference in March. And as we like very much, as someone said before, as Vasi said before, the possibility to meet in this way now, we all of us feel the necessity to have, if possible, a meeting in presence in order to have another kind of exchange. So for the moment, we are preparing and hoping that in June and July 2021 could be possible to do this conference in Brussels with a working title, Rural and Urban Communities as Driver for Growth and Employment through Social Economy. And we will do this with other partner organizations, REFs, which is another important European network. Maybe some of you knows this. They are working a lot with public authorities to the topic of social economy, and also ECFI, which is a European Community Foundation initiative. And so the aim, the idea of this conference is to create a major synergies between public authorities, social enterprises, and funding organizations to the topic of employment and growth. So we hope then to see each other and welcome every one of you next year, if not before, in this important occasion, and we will give you of course, all the informations will be given in time. So this slide is just to give you an idea, and I think more of you know very well these different networks, and maybe you are even working with them. We are creating. And okay, so you have the contact dates, but you can have them also in another way. And I think my 5 minutes maybe are finished, and welcome again, and have a good, I hope we will have a good work, and I think we will have a good work this afternoon. And I think I can give back to you, Jukka, the words, the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Felicitas, for a good and also sort of visually interesting presentation of CEFEC. And I can also, from my part, say that we have been, I think, developing again, like very progressively in the last year. So we are really progressing, and this is also behind why we want to sort of extend our cooperation to new partners. I think it's time for the country by country comments at this moment in time, and let's follow. I just open on the other screen. I'll do it. This is a bit almost like a Eurovision Song Contest. Handing over to different juries in different parts of Europe. But I will hand over to our colleagues in Lithuania, because we've been working on this webinar and this event as a team, obviously with the support of Felicitas and Vasi and the people in Romania. But in terms of the region here, the most part has been our Lithuanian colleagues and myself working on this. And so I'll hand over to Asta, and then we sort of come back to Finland for more words about what we're doing. So please, Asta, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Jukka. But first of all, I wanted to ask, do I need to present myself, or we can present our situation in Lithuania? I can't hear you.
I think you could present yourself and the others who you have from your Lithuanian network. I think that goes the easiest way. I will you do it. You have more than one person. I will then sort of introduce some of the others, but that's
okay. So Lithuania start. Great. So I can start from myself and my colleagues. My name is Asta, and I am from Lithuania. NGO organization, which is calling Human Resources Monitoring and Development Bureau. I have 2 minutes to show you the live presentation, which my colleague Vaida made yesterday, because we wanted to show you as innovative version. So Vaida, if you could share your screen, it would be very nice. Thank you, Vaida. And so short presentation of our organization, but I am not only one today, and today is a special day because today is a Social Entrepreneurship Day, and it is a big online event is organizing in Lithuania, and I invited Viktorija Braziunaite, which is director of Lithuanian Social Entrepreneurship Association. And yes, she's leading this event, but thanks to Viktorija that she found the time to come here and to present the real situation of social entrepreneurship in Lithuania. So Viktorija, it's your turn.
Hello, everyone. I am sitting like on fire because very soon I will have another plenary discussion. So first of all, thank you, Asta, for inviting me here to this great group. As I am guessing, you all know each other for a long time. I can imagine you developed many, many projects. And of course, today you invited some more people for cooperation for the future. So I'm really, really happy to see here so many nice, active people. And very important, as at the beginning, Jukka mentioned this cooperation between Baltics and Nordic countries. And actually today our event, social entrepreneurship event, which is organized in cooperation with Nordic Council. So definitely this region for us is very important. I was asked to give some insights on points which were sent to me by Asta and organizers. What is situation? So I came up with some ideas about challenges, and it could be an opportunity for our cooperation. As I imagine, we are strong in one areas, you are strong in other areas, and here we are to share what we know the best and to foster each other where we lack certain knowledge and experiences. So I prepared a short presentation. I will share a screen with you. Please let me know if you see. Okay. So as Asta has mentioned, I am presenting here Lithuanian Social Business Association. And actually we have Jolita, which presents an organization for tackling poverty issues. When we talk about social business, the concept we are following in our association is combining social mission with business model. We are working, our social business organizations are not narrow, developed only, include people, integrate people of disabilities into life. Because sometimes in Lithuania we have a challenge that when we're talking about social enterprises, people are mixing. They are mixing with this narrow concept. So in our association, we cover wide range of social and environmental challenges. So youth, women empowerment, care of elderly people, green economy, integration of people with various disabilities, culture, inclusive society, human rights, healthy lifestyle, and really, you name it. What can solve certain people's pain and bring some value, bring some positive change? That's the area for social business. And our members develop valuable activities with positive impact, such as employment and integration of vulnerable groups, non-formal education of children with problems, some street children, building sustainable and environmentally friendly educational community, promoting entrepreneurship among and children and women, and many other areas. So at the moment, we are uniting 18 well-known social businesses in Lithuania, and we have ambitious to expand. And I haven't mentioned that we were created 2 years ago, so we are quite young organization, and all this topic is really new here. but it's blooming very much. And I'm very glad that Asta also applied to become a member. Really, really glad for this initiative. So I hope we will. I'm not hope, but I am sure we will develop nice cooperation and some valuable projects for both of us. And here are some, not some, but our members. So as I mentioned, areas are very different. For example, Anksti LT, they are providing some kit for children who were burned too early because some stuff what mother could need. For example, there is Mes Žydim life window. It's a orphanage for room plans, for home plans. So when people move to another place, they throw away plans. So one of our members, she really feels bad about this, and she established this organization. Textile, it's a circular economy where used clothes and textile are brought to new life, happiness for children with it's a social initiative for children, for little children with cancer. Užimtumo namai, where from village, little village where people didn't have, they were excluded territorially and couldn't go to the city to get to the job. So the job comes is brought to them in that little village. So it's quite well known and very unique social business initiative, even were awarded by our president. So it's when we talk about social regulation, we don't have, sorry that this slide is in Lithuanian, but it's just for me to comment for you. At the moment, we have just draft of social business development, which is still in the parliament, and we don't know how it will go, because at the moment we have a new government. It could be that the new working group will be formed from ecosystem players to discuss how we could move more firm and more effectively in developing this ecosystem and regulations, and really many things needs to be in place to promote this kind of business. So we participate in formation and implementation of social business development policy. We also strengthen capacities and skills of our organization, as well as organizations from outside. We also represent interests of our members in state institutions and form public opinion about social business, because honestly, I don't know how it is in your countries, but in our country is our society knows very little about this kind of business. And when you say social business, it sounds very strange. Social and business, it's like two contradicting concepts. So, and it looks like, when you do something good for disabled people, for some, when you do a good job, how you can think about making money? And I don't know, maybe it's something in our mentality. So, so this is very important to talk about this, and to say and to form an opinion that it is okay to have a business model inside of your activity, some commercial activity, because you need to be financially sustainable. you cannot solely rely on some grants or some donorship. You need to make sure that if there is no support, no grants, no projects, you would sustain. So that's very challenging for us, and we're really working on that to change that mindset. And
Victoria, I'm sorry to disturb you, but I think we might be running short on time. So if I think you might need to sort of speed up a bit on this, so we have to move to another.
Yeah, so that's
sorry about it.
yeah, that's the last slide. So country situation, we actually and this could answer point number 3 we are interested in. Actually, legal framework. We are working on that. It is under construction, and it's really, we're interested to learn from other countries who are more ahead of us. This is one. Secondly, how you measure impact. If we would be also glad to learn. And I think it's very important to say what we can offer. So definitely our strength is that despite the fact that regulation is not in place, all our ecosystem is under formation. We have really strong social businesses, very good ideas. They're pioneers. They are solving problems, interesting social innovations, and we can really share with other countries. So they are ahead of all this system of governmental regulation and programs. So that's, I am proud of our social entrepreneurs. So it could be, yes, topics and things for cooperation among us. Thank you for your attention. And here are our contacts, and you can follow us on Facebook.
Okay, thank you. And I think we now move on to, there was actually the order of the countries here was not exactly what I had in mind, but now let's move on to sort of jump to Finland, and then we sort of continue to Norway after that. I will allow a colleague of mine and a friend of mine, Kimmo Kumlander, to say a few words, and he's one of the more current members in CEFEC also now. We have other people from organizations. We have 4 members from Finland in CEFEC. Valovalmennus, where Kimmo is, and others where I work from. There is also Central Association of Mental Health who are not present today, and then we have also Woodfox from the Bothnia area, where we're present here. I think Mari, maybe also Arto are present. I know that you have a list here, so we have 4 strong team. And then we also have Juha Kudelehti, we are from the Reuse Center, we work together a lot to develop this concept here. So this is the strong Finnish presentation. But Kimmo, your sort of an overview what we are trying to achieve in Finland, please.
Thank you, Jukka. Jukka will present, of course, a little more in detail later on, I think. But you know, this Finnish framework is very, it's changing very rapidly nowadays. They are squashing the old legislation about the framework of social economy, and they are building a new one. And we are, of course, many organizations, both governmental and non-governmental organizations, trying to, build their own models and taking care of the social economy in Finland. But to date, system is changing every day, and they have huge plans actually, but they mostly consist of getting as many people as possible, as fast and as cheap as possible to the intermediary or open labor market, and it's not maybe the best solution for our kind of organizations who work with vulnerable groups. My own organization and our member organizations, we work with the most vulnerable groups as addicts and homeless people and ex-offenders trying to regain their place in the society, and people with many social and mental and educational advantages. So they are quite far from the open labor market, and we also provide housing and provide rehabilitation and education and then intermediary working places for those people, and then helping them, coaching them towards open labor market. And for us, important themes and important social innovations and other themes we are good at, and we focus at the moment our Housing First initiative, of course, and everything that has to do with the learning in a non-formal environment, and also learning, getting proper education, even if you are in, for example, drug-related rehabilitation and so forth. So you don't have to first get rehabilitated and then start to go to school, and that kind of innovations. And of course, these ex-offenders, they are very close to our main activities, because most of them have addictions and mental health problems, and most of them don't have own flat here in Finland. So we have to start from the very beginning, and we also host a private public halfway house, bringing people from the close detention to halfway house and then to open society. So that kind of things. We also now look, for example, companions for working with nature-based rehabilitation and solutions that can be used to learning despite of time and place, and that kind of innovations, and also getting new methods of housing for the vulnerable people, because in the largest cities, also in Finland, even if we have plenty of space here in Finland, the vulnerable people don't have homes, and we are a firm believer in Housing First initiative. So that kind of solutions are our main focus. But we always work towards education and open labor market with all of our target groups, and that's about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kimmo. And I think you already mentioned, I mean, there are some topics which we might get into later in different meetings and surveys. It's about, of course, the different fields we work on and the different sort of business branches, and also different focus groups that Vasi has also mentioned in the chat here. And then we move on to Norway, actually, next on the agenda. So Jan has promised to sort of give a short presentation, and then we also have Kristine from Norway here participating. So we have two people here. But Jan, please.
Share. I try to share my screen, and then I go to there. Is it okay now?
Yes, it looks fine for me at least.
You can see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Very good. I will try to keep to my 10 minutes. My name is Jan Evensen, and I'm from Norway. As Jukka said, I'm working as a manager in a company called Phoenix. In my presentation, I will start talking on a general level, on the macro level, talk a little bit about how Norway supports social entrepreneurship. And in the last part, I will give you some examples from my own company, how we work practically as a social entrepreneur in Norway. Every time, or very often, when I talk about Norway in Europe, people used to say, oh, you are so lucky in Norway because you have so much money, you have so much funding, and the politicians are positive to adult education. And that is a fact. It's a consensus among all the political parties in Norway that adult education and social entrepreneurship is important. At the time being, we have a right-wing government for the last 4 years, or no, for the last 8 years almost, but they are actually very positive. Social entrepreneurship is a focus area for this government. And they have been very good at building up various financial schemes, both on locally and national levels. And also very important as background music in Norway is that the municipalities on the local level has a big area of responsibility towards vulnerable groups, like for example, immigrants and people with disabilities. And this is very important because this is what I'm going to talk about in the last part of my presentation. Because very often there's a good collaboration between the local municipalities and local social entrepreneurs, like us in Phoenix. But back to the governmental program. Last year, they gave a white paper. Unfortunately, this is not translated to English, it's only in Norwegian. But the government says that they want to see social entrepreneurship to find new solutions to social problems. And they talk a lot, they write a lot about building networks between social disciplines and different business models. And this is very interesting because this is what social entrepreneurship is really about. To find new ways to solve problems that are not solved by traditional public solutions. And this is, in fact, what social entrepreneurship is all about. And this is the words actually from the government. So this is very positive. They have declared that they will improve the conditions for the use of social entrepreneurship together with the voluntary sector in the welfare system. And they want a diversity of suppliers, and they want those suppliers to cooperate with professional companies and professional environments. So this is like the background. They talk a lot about social entrepreneurship as a measure to reduce social problems and create change in society. And they talk a lot about to find those unmet welfare needs that are not so easy to find or easy to work with. If you come from a macro level, you very often don't find them or don't see them. But if you go through the local level, it's easier to reach them. As Kimmo said, often they are on the street, actually. They are not in contact with the welfare system. So it's very important to find innovative solutions. But as we have a right-wing government, as I said, they also talk a lot about financial sustainability. And of course, that is important. There are a lot of funding schemes, as I said, both on national and local level, but the aim is to try to create something that is financially substantiable. And of course, very important to have focus on what we in Norway call target group involvement. This is a very important expression in all our work. The target groups shall be personally involved in the project. And also, as I mentioned before, find ways to create collaboration between the social and the commercial. I think that was mentioned by the people from Lithuania, that it's important to have two thoughts in the head at the same time. This shall both be social and shall always be also be commercial. So this is the background for social entrepreneurship in Norway as it is today. We are working a lot in Phoenix with different projects on social entrepreneurship. We work with our job seekers to help them create their own work, but we also work directly with endangered groups who are outside the labor market and shall never be inside the labor market because they have different kinds of disabilities. So this brings me down to a concrete presentation and example on how we work in Phoenix. Phoenix is the largest company in Norway in the vocational rehabilitation market. We have more than 200 employees working in 4 major product areas. Our biggest project, our biggest task is to work with people who are outside the labor market and try to help them back into the ordinary working life. This is our main core business. Last year, more than 1,200 people got a job through Phoenix. We also have a school for migrants where we teach them language and work-life training. We have the responsibility for all the migrants coming into our area in Sandefjord municipality. Sandefjord is a town in the southern part of Norway, and it is the 8th biggest city in Norway. We work a lot with lifelong learning for those who are inside the working market but are in danger of falling out. We work with basic skills and we work with vocational training, trade certificates, formal qualification. But what I'm going to talk about now for the last 3 minutes is what we call in Norway adapted workplaces. In addition to these 200 employees working in Phoenix, we have more than 120 employees who are working with us, for us, employed by us in what we in Norway call adapted workplaces. And this is a very important part of social entrepreneurship, and it's a very good example of collaboration between municipalities and social entrepreneurs as Phoenix. Because we have Phoenix and this adapted workplace, we call it tangent, because this part of the business will never be exploited to tendering or commercial offers. This is something that we will have for sure as a security for our target group. Because in Norway, every municipality has a responsibility, according to the law, to offer adapted workplaces for those who cannot be part of an ordinary working life. This is by law. And in Sandefjord, this task is administered by Phoenix. And that's why we have more than 120 employees in different adapted workplaces. The workplaces are adapted, but it's very important that they operate on a commercial market. They have to earn money because the employees, they have social security, they have benefits in the bottom, but they also receive salary and pensions, etc. from us. So those 120 people, they are from 22, 23 years old up to 67 when they go off with pension. We have a very big washery that wash clothes. This is very modern. It was rebuilt this year. Vasi and some other people from the organization was here visiting us a couple of years ago. If they come back today, they would not believe their eyes, because this new washery is very modern, very efficient, and very big. Even blind people can work there because we have developed a special system with color codes and touch codes that they can feel the language through. We have a big organization working with woodery, carpentry. The young guy in the green here is one of the people in the adapted workplace, and the guy to the right is his instructor. He's one of the youngest, and it's very nice, it's very funny. We have transportation and logistics, where a lot of people work in this area. And we have the catering and the restaurant business, very popular. They even serve us the lunch every day. And we have a very big bakery. This is the only 100% gluten-free bakery in our area, and the products are very popular. Don't ask me how they taste, but okay. This gives jobs to more than 120 people, and this gives them security to be part of the working life, not being part of the ordinary working life. And we are very proud of this program. Very proud. Everyone is very proud and happy. That was a little bit more than 10 minutes. Thank you. Please feel free to contact me. We work a lot in international projects. We have a lot of international projects on social entrepreneurship as well. We work in Erasmus Plus on all levels, 1, 2, and 3. And we work in Nord Plus, and we work in Norway Grants, hopefully also together with some of you very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And then we try to sort of keep the pace, so we will have some time for mutual discussion also towards the end of it. So because we have many people who don't actually have a presentation, and according to the list which I have here, the next stop will be in Iceland. So Halla, are you prepared to say a few words about the most westernmost country of this group?
Yes, hello everybody. Well, Jukka contacted me some days ago or something, and well, for me, I started here just to come to learn about this everything. So I don't know much what you're doing, but I have a little presentation about what we are doing here in Iceland. But maybe I will tell you a little bit about, because I think I'm not sure which role I'm going to use here, because I can be in 2 roles. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about them both, because I'm a manager for a sheltered workplace, and I work with, it's run by a non-organization here in Iceland. So I will just try to tell you a little bit, and then you can also just ask me if there's anything. Well, yes, I can be in 2 roles, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about Iceland. I'm not sure what you know about Iceland. We are a little smaller than most of the European countries, and yeah, most countries, I think, except Faroe Islands or something. So I'm trying to find how, yes. We are just around 364,000 people who live here. And that's the newest number I have, and most of the people live in the capital area. I had a little presentation in Budapest last year, so I'm using a little bit of the same slides. So this is maybe a little old numbers, but I took numbers from how many people are getting social benefits and here in Iceland, and you see, and people with disabilities, the numbers, the ages. I'm not going to talk about all the numbers. You see them slightly there. And the next, and I'm just here a little bit about the types of people with disabilities in Iceland. This is not a big numbers. So, well, if you compare to the European countries, but for us, it's a lot. like I told you, I work with a non-profit organization who's called Styrktarfélag, and it's one of the leading companies here in service for people with disabilities. And it's a mutual benefits organization and has, through the years, established various types of service, long-term residence, daycare for children, and work-related offers for adults, helping people to find jobs at the labor market and finding ways to make it easier to keep their own homes in view of our many concerns. All the board members of the company are parents or close related to people with disabilities. And I am the manager for sheltered workplace here where I'm staying now, and I have around 150 people from the age to 20 to 72 years old who comes here to work, and we are doing all kinds of work. I could use half an hour to talk about my work, so I don't have the time. So you just have to come here and visit me and see it, or call me later. But the organization has a strong relationship with many of independent supporters, as well as other associations and companies who help the company to grow and blossom. AUS is providing service to around 234 people with disabilities, and the employees are around 386. But I also have another role. It's called Hlutverk. It's an independent enterprise that provide paid jobs for persons with disability. It's an organization, umbrella organization, who is coordinating independent institutes, training institutes, and sheltered workshops, but does not provide jobs itself. It's 25 individual workshops who are members, and some of them, most of them were founded between 76 to 86, but the oldest is from 45. And I'm the chairman for this organization. And there is around 800 people who are under Hlutverk, and it's from the age of 16 to 80 years old. The system, in 2011, the service with people with disability went from the state to the municipalities. And some of the municipalities are running the service, but others are funded through contracts. Like us, where I'm working, we have contracts with the municipality, so they buy service from us for their people. But there are some workplaces still under the Directorate of Labor, and they are funding through contracts. And the Directorate of Labor, it bears overall responsibilities for public labor exchanges and handles day-to-day operation of the unemployment insurance funds, the maternity and paternity leave fund, the wage guarantee funds, and many other projects connected with the labor market. But it's also from, I think, around 2011, 12, every people with disability, they also apply to the Directorate of Labor. So every applications to the sheltered workplace and everything related to people with disability and non-disability goes through this Directorate of Labor. And I know there's a lot of people go through supported employment, and I know there's around 750 to 800 active contracts in supported employment yearly here in Iceland. I'm not sure I have more to share, I think. And it was just a little overview of how things are here in Iceland, and I'm learning about the social, I'm I to put something here on. I'm learning all the names. Sometimes it's difficult for me to understand all this European name you're using in the legal framework. They're sometimes difficult to translate over to Iceland, so to Icelandic. So I'm learning about it, and I'm very interesting to hear more about this everything, and I can connect to some of it, and something I don't connect anything to. So it's very interesting to hear about everything, and I have been lucky to be able to go around in Europe and visiting all kinds of places and going to conference and everything. So I'm looking to hear more about everything that's happening here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Halla. And of course, with your organization, we've had some cooperation, especially your people have visited us, and we hope to be able to visit you once this pandemic sort of situation is over as well. We move on we have to jump over Estonia, who was on the list, and the next, because Helen, unfortunately, has caught a really bad flu, and so she's out, and we don't have material there. So we don't go into that, but there is a national network of social enterprises where work integration is very, very strong part of it, and so young, very active people sort of, building that and everything. So we'll hear about that in one of the later meetings. And then we move on to neighbor country to Estonia, to Latvia here. So are we going to be?
Yes.
Regita is ready now here. Yep.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Really nice to join you in this meeting, and I hope you see my screen and my camera as well. Do you hear me well? Yes. Maybe somebody.
Yes, we hear. Yeah. We hear you
great.
well. Yeah.
Great. Really great to hear that. So I'm here to tell you more about social entrepreneurship in Latvia. And we are a social entrepreneurship association of Latvia. So we are an umbrella organization working for the last 5 years in Latvia to bring everybody who works on social entrepreneurship together. And we bring together not only social enterprises, but also NGOs or just persons that are interested in the development of social entrepreneurship here in Latvia. And as for now, we unite 130 members, social enterprises, NGOs, and other stakeholders. And we work in 3 main directions. So first of all, it's advocacy of interests at local, regional, national, and international level as well. We are a member of several networks as well as ENSI and DISIS in Europe. Second of all, we work with improvement of the capacity of members and development of their skills and knowledge. So we are bringing together their experience and knowledge and creating a platform for them to meet and to work together for the common goal. And third of all, we are informing society about social entrepreneurship, and we are having approximately 40 events each year. And this year it has been more informative webinars and events about social entrepreneurship. And as for now, the current situation in Latvia is that we have a social enterprise law. It has started to work on 2018. So basically it's 2.5 years that we have a social enterprise law that defines what it means. And in Latvia, social enterprises are limited liability companies that can acquire a special status. So basically, it's a status that you can acquire as a limited liability company if you are eligible for that. And as for work integration social enterprises, it's one of the ways that social enterprises can work So basically there are 3 ways how social enterprises can work, and work integration social enterprises is one of them. And there are 11 groups defined in legislation, which you can integrate as a WISE here in Latvia. And as of today, there are 143 social enterprises registered, and approximately 1/4 of them are work integration social enterprises. And now we have a state support program for social enterprises, which is run through European Social Fund. And it is a 90% grant for business development. and it's run until 2022 year. And of course, there are other general and not social entrepreneurship specific business support instruments for social entrepreneurship development here in Latvia. And we have one national level advocacy organization, which is our network. And we can see that there is a growing interest from public sector and a bit cautious interest from the private sector. And there are many challenges that social enterprises face. And one of them, of course, is this investment readiness and just knowledge and skills of the business. Those are the main challenges we can see for our members. And as I mentioned, the definition of social enterprise is being legislated through social enterprise law. And as I mentioned, it is a limited liability company, which in accordance with the procedures laid in this law, has been granted the status of a social enterprise and which conducts an economic activity that creates a positive social impact. And we have some examples defined in the law as well, which are provision of social services, formation of an inclusive civil society, promotion of education, support for science, protection and preservation of the environment, animal protection, or ensuring of cultural diversity. So basically we have some topics as an examples put in the law as well. And then I would like to introduce you to two WISEs working here in Latvia as social innovations. The first of them is WISE Sonido. So they work as a call center. So basically you can buy their service as a call line, as a usual business, but they have two special call lines. One of them is meant for talking. So basically you can just call them to talk when you want, no matter what, when you just need somebody to talk with. So basically it's made for small talks and for maybe lonely people that just need this social interaction. And but they work as a work integration social enterprise. So basically people with disabilities are employed there on this call line and on other call lines as well. And now during the COVID time, they have a new innovation that is a call line, We Will Listen, where you can complain and swear. So basically you can put all of your aggression and bad emotions there. And basically there's a special phone number where you can call, and it's okay to be negative because the call line is made for it. So basically it's a call line where you can put all of your aggression out. And last year they were winners of the International WISE Award put together for NZ Network, and there is their website as well. You can check them out because they are a really nice example. And the second example I would like to introduce you to is Blind Art, which is work integration social enterprise creating high-class design products. So basically they are creating bags, puffs, they are creating furniture and some design and fashion products from this special thing created by blind persons or persons with sight problems or issues. And through those products, they are bringing awareness about the blindness and about how it is to be with sight issues. And they are not only creating those high-class design products, but also some educational books which are made not only for sightless persons, but also for every other kids that just want to read the book, but through this book they understand how the braille works or how they can use it in their everyday life. So it's a really nice example of the work integration social enterprise as well, because they employ women with sight issues as well. And to conclude, our main topics of interest for the mutual exchange are, first of all, the municipality involvement in the social entrepreneurship support mechanisms. Maybe we could share some case studies of cooperation And the other thing is to share maybe some stories where municipality has been a paying client for some network organization, for example, to develop some support system, or maybe you could share some examples on that. The other big topic that we are really interested is socially responsible public procurement, because it has been a big issue and big challenge all over the Europe. But here in Latvia, we don't really have any examples of it to be in a real life. So we are really interested in how to develop the socially responsible public procurement. So basically the good examples and ways how to really encourage it countrywide. So basically how to normalize it and how to push and pull some legal representatives to really make it possible, and how to really make social enterprises ready for it, because we see that sometimes they lack the capacity to really make it possible for the social responsible public procurement. And the third big topic that we would be interested in to share is social impact measurement tips and tricks, and some guidelines, tools, and unifying principles that might be used in your countries. And how do you have some unifying documents or unifying principles in your countries? Maybe it's something specific, and maybe it's not only SDGs, but other tools or guidelines that you have or you are using in your countries. So those are three kind of big topics that we are right now really interested to work more on. And thank you for your attention. And here's our website, and of course my contact as well. So feel free to contact me, and I'm very happy to join this meeting. And I could see that there are some action in the chat. So if there are any questions, I can answer them in a written form as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Regita. And it's interesting area is that I just sort of add a comment here about in the chat about the procurement, because that's one area where we are working a lot, and I'm working personally a lot here now. So this is something we can elaborate further with everybody who's interested. So we have 2 more countries to go through, and Denmark is only with the video. So we go first to Sweden, and we have actually, I think I can see 4 different members sort of, participating today. And I think we got 2 who are prepared to say something here. And so it's Patricia and Leif, and then Ulla-carin. Which way we go? Maybe I give the word first to Ulla-carin, who's also sort of representing Scoopy today, and then further to Patricia that way. So Ulla-carin, please.
I will talk a little about Scoopy. That is an organization who are organizing vices in Sweden, work integration, social enterprises. And generally, if you, I will first say something about generally the situation of work integration, social enterprises in Sweden, and then something about Scoopy, and also the current situation, and something about topics we want to work further on. And I think I will not lay out any pictures. I will send them later, because there are too many really. So yes, and there are about 300 work integration social enterprises in Sweden, but the statistics now are rather uncertain. We have no organization that are collecting documents from the different enterprises. But this is statistics is from 2019. And now we have the pandemic going. So we don't know how the situation is just now. There are about 10,000 people working in these enterprises, and most of the enterprises are economic associations, but we have no special legislation for vices in Sweden. We have asked for it many times, and it has been debate in the parliament and also in the ministers, the work ministry. But they said it is not, they don't need to have a special legislation. And we also have no tax reductions. But there are a lot of small enterprises in Sweden, the work integration. It's second-hand shops, cafes, gardening, carpentry, cleaning, conference and administration, elderly care, media, bed and breakfast hotels, and there are very many different branches. And the people who are working in them are, of course, long-term unemployed people coming they are sent from the public employment office in different programs to the vices. And there usually it's 8 to 10 people working in the different social cooperatives. But now it's a tendency in Sweden that these small cooperatives are they are fusion together in larger organizations called consortiums, which is a model from Italy that is very popular in Sweden, really. They are they have a sort of central unit for economy, finances, personnel, and such things. And then the small enterprises are joined together in this consortia structure. So it's going on, and that means also that there are much fewer independent firms. They are in these sort of networks. We have some are very well known in Sweden, for example, Basta cooperatives, which were founded in 1994. We have one in the west coast of Sweden, Vägen Ut, which has 12 different cooperatives, Ulla-carin in the south, and Café Rekommendera, which is one having cafes and bakery and lunches and such things. And it's the northern coast in Sweden, northeast coast. But all these small enterprises, they are members of Skopi. And Skopi is a sort of an umbrella organization with about 220 members. And I am a secretary. These Skopi have also district organizations. And I'm secretary in the western part, in Gothenburg part of Sweden, in Skopi. And what we try to do is to educate the social enterprises, and also to build up a sort of a support network. And of course, being also an advocacy for the social enterprises with a lot of contacts with the government, with a public employment office, with the regional, the agency for regional and economic growth, all the different state units. So we try to support the social enterprises with a lot of competence. And also what is going on just now, it's a process of certification where we try to bring new knowledge and higher competence to the work integration social enterprises. And this certification process started in 2019, and now it has been about 29-30 different enterprises who have gone through certification and got a certificate that they are competent and sustainable organizations. And there is another 10 which is just now in the process of certification. And we have also the strength of the work integration social enterprises today is that many of them has sustainable production, ecological products of different kinds, that we have, of course, one goal for all vices is to integrate unemployed and disadvantaged individuals into the society. So integration is very important, but we have about 200,000 unemployed people, and we have just 300 vices. So there is a need really to start more vices all over the country. But the problem is financing, and also it's some problem with we didn't get much support from, we get support from the state, but not very much from the municipalities. And this is also something about cooperation, that these vices need to cooperate with each other to build a sort of support structure among them, and also have different contacts with universities and research, and get more knowledge and cooperation with to the vices. What is called by EU the ecosystem that Jukka showed earlier. The ecosystem, we need to strengthen the support structure for vices. And the problems that we need, the topics we wanted to discuss really is recurrent financial problems coming up within new vices, but also when it's problems in the market, and young and more established firms get financial problems sometimes. And we needed to have some funds and a sort of building up capital in a way to be able to lend money to new started social enterprises. And we needed a sort of grants, and the financial situation is still a problem in Sweden. Even for Skopje, it's a problem really just now. We need also to create good business concepts, and we have learned that the vices need a long construction period. And the problem is also that we have problems with the municipalities. So it's very many of, I heard from the other presentations, that many wish to have good contacts with the municipalities, but we have also a problem with competition with the municipalities, because they are building their own work training units and production, and they don't find it good to have social enterprises. So the attitudes from the public authorities is a problem for us. So we need to strengthen the support structure, and also to work very much to have an impact on different authorities in Sweden. I can write these later on and send to Vasi or Jukka or someone. Yes, I think I stop there.
Okay, thank you. And I actually put a message there that I will create a survey, or actually partly created already, to sort of collect a lot of information there. And now I'll also give a word briefly to Leif and Patricia, who've been very active representing Sweden for the last years in CEFEC. And then we'll have, can I just ask this stage, how long is the video from Denmark? Because we have the Danish presentation. Is that 10 minutes or less?
No, it's less. It's about 5-6 minutes.
Okay, so then we have, Leif and Patricia, your turn now, and then we'll go to that, and then we can have a short discussion and everything. Maybe the discussion should be about, how and when to meet next time. Please, Patricia and Leif.
Thank you. And we are from Sweden in the Stockholm area. My name is Leif, and here's Patricia on my left-hand side. I'm a COVID-19 post-COVID-19 patient, and I'm still recovering, but my recovery has begun to disappoint me, because now I have a navel hernia. That means my intestines are trying to get out through my belly button, and it's very painful for the moment, and I hope I will get an operation very soon. But we're working with homeless people in Stockholm area, and I can refer to the former speaker Kimmo in Finland, that we are doing almost the same things here in Stockholm. We haven't met, but it was a very interesting conversation from his side, and we hope in the future, if there is a future, without COVID-19, to see him and see you all, of course. And hopefully we will survive this COVID-19. And I would like to give a few words to Patricia. She is my, for the moment, left-hand friend, but almost all the time she is taking care of the company for the moment, and she is taking care of me. We are sitting at our office in Haninge, south of Stockholm. Please, Patricia, say something about yourself.
Yes, hello, I'm Patricia from Rysevik, Sweden. And I don't know what to say, because I heard what Ulla-carin was saying, and we have the same problem with everything. So, and right now we are trying to survive, because they are taking back the clients from our places, and that's a problem. And also we have a problem with the community to work with us. So we are trying to survive, and also get Leif survive. So
I think that's all from Stockholm, and we do have a homepage, of course, and if you would like to see anything, and you're very welcome to contact us. And I will say a special thanks to Ulla-carin. It was very interesting. We learned so much from Sweden. Of course, it's very interesting to hear from the rest of the world, and Iceland and Finland and Norway. Very interesting. But a special thanks to Ulla-carin, and it was very interesting. I hope to see you soon in the future. Thank you from Stockholm.
Okay. Thank you, and of course, as I said, we have others, but it would be very nice to give a word to everybody who's present here. We can do it. We need to have more meetings, but we'll go to the Danish presentation. As somebody mentioned earlier, today is the International Social Enterprise Day. Maybe next year we'll do that in a big promotion campaign also through CEFEC, but the Danes are doing it, and now also we made a video of their presentation. So I'll hand over to you, Vasi, and your colleagues in Romania now.
Hello, my name is Per Bach. I'm from an organization in Denmark that's called Social Entrepreneurs in Denmark. We're a national organization that helps promote social entrepreneurship and social enterprises. And we do this basically through three efforts, like we disseminate knowledge around it, we collect news and knowledge from all over the world on social enterprises and social entrepreneurship, and disseminate them through our website, newsletter, and social channels. We host a lot of events, and we also participate in projects together with other partners from basically the Baltic Sea region and Scandinavian countries. So if you look at social enterprises in Denmark right now, I guess there is around 500, a little more than 500 social enterprises. And we would probably say that around 60% of those are so-called work integrational social enterprises, meaning working primarily with integrating excluded groups of different kinds into the work, either employing them or having them in different kind of trainings. So I would say that we have been not so fortunate in terms of governmental support for the last 5 years. Before that, we had a couple of centers, national centers for social enterprise, and one of them was actually supported by the government, but it had to close due to the political situation back in 2015. But what happened before was that we actually had made a legal scheme that was introduced, a legal scheme for social enterprises that was introduced as of January 2015. And since then, enterprises have been able to register as a so-called registered social enterprise if they apply to 5 different terms or criteria. And the first criteria is that, of course, you have to have a social purpose. You have to be a business, which means you have to make money, not live from only donations, but actually have at least 10% of your money coming from selling products or services. Third, you have to be independent of the public sector. It means that here in Denmark, a municipality cannot start a social enterprise, or they can actually start a social enterprise, but they cannot own more than half of an enterprise or have more than half of the decision power in the board. So municipalities could actually initiate a social enterprise, just making sure that it would be an independent organization afterwards. As number 4, you need to have an including governance, which means that you have to include employees and also your cooperating partners with you in the running of the company. And finally, maybe the most important criteria is that you have to have a social distribution of profits or a reinvestment of profits. So if you live up to these 5 criteria, you can become a registered social enterprise, and you have to report to the Danish Business Authority once a year to make sure that you actually live up to or meet the different criteria. So that is one of our achievements, I would say, in the Danish context. Sadly, as I said, there's not been really any governmental interest in social enterprises for the last 5 years due to mainly a political change, like a social democrat government to a liberal government. So the interest of social enterprises in a political sense was kind of slaughtered in that respect, not purposely, but more as it became sort of a political issue. That being said, a lot of municipalities are still very active in promoting social enterprise and also support the registration scheme, meaning that we have seen a rise from maybe a couple of hundreds till more than 600 social or enterprises that have registered themselves. I would say, though, that we cannot be completely sure that all registered social enterprises have done so purposely to identify themselves as a social enterprise, but that is another story. So I think that what we would like in terms of international cooperation is to build more on maybe a common registration scheme in Europe. We work together with different other actors, for example, Euclid, where we also take part in the European Social Entrepreneurship Monitor project that works to collect like detailed data on social enterprises in the different countries on a national level. And as of now, there's 8 countries working in that prospect. So I think that other issues and challenges that social enterprises face could be addressed in that forum. When you have the specific data or detailed data about the field, it's much easier to actually go out and see where you can do something.
Okay, thanks also to Per, who could not join us today, but who is willing, and his colleagues there is willing to do cooperation in the future, as well as Helen and the colleagues in Estonia who had to sort of drop out at the last moment because of illness. We are now in a situation we got 8 minutes of the sort of initial allocated time left, and we've been through all this round of presentations from each country, and I think it's fair to say that if nothing else, these presentations and speeches tell us that we have a very versatile network. We have sort of huge experience, huge knowledge, and networks, and so many different approaches, which is something I was also reflecting in my presentation early in the webinar. So this is something where we want to take these things further and sort of focus more on working together, sort of finding structured ways to do it. But we felt before that it's good to sort of just share some information about ourselves, what we are doing in each country, and all that. So as I mentioned, I put the message there on the chat that I will create a survey, and I hope that you will be answering, even if there is quite a few questions probably coming your way. But I'd like to sort of update what information I already gathered from statistics and surveys and studies about this area. So I'll put something together based on that, which then will be distributed, obviously, to each of you and within the CEFEC network. So we have a better understanding on what's going on, and we have a basis for our mutual cooperation. And the other thing I wanted to sort of say at this stage is I'd like to propose that we will, based on the survey, we will be sort of proposing a couple of themes around which we would be gathering probably in the new year. I don't know if we still have time to do it this year, but in the new year, already January, and we have a couple of very concrete themes, and we'll then sort of organize next Zoom meetings or webinars, and we'll have those topics on these. And of course, in between, there will be the survey responses, material distributed, and some information letters, and that will be, there's been a lot of correspondence in the coming days and weeks. And at this stage, and of course, thanks for everybody who's been participating. Thanks for our people also who've been supporting us with Asta and her team in Lithuania. We work this together, and then Vasi and Felicitas especially. I'll hand the last words to you, Felicitas and Vasi, if you still have something you wanted to mention here. And I think then we need to sort of close to be punctual. We like to be very punctual in Finland. We always start on time, we finish on time. So I'd like to keep it that way also today.
Okay.
Please, yeah.
Thank you, Jukka. Yes, I'm German, as I mentioned before, so I like to be punctual too. No, I'm really happy about this meeting, and because I think it went very well, and it was very interesting to see these different countries with similar but also very different situations. So I just collected a lot of topics which came out from starting from Kimmo about the different target groups we are working with to legal framework situation, public procurement, the definition, what is social enterprise then? The social business in Italian we say that we have social and economic profit, which makes social enterprise, and both has to be measured and has to be in some way harmonized. And the profit is always to be reinvested for the community and for our main mission. So, but I think it could there came out a lot of very interesting topics. We should go more deeper inside and try to understand how we can support each other and work together on strategies. And yes, so I thank you very much, really. I will have a look to the register, because the meeting webinar will be registered and everyone will have the registered version from the webinar. So I will for sure have a look on it and re-listen it in order to collect better all the topics which came out. And of course, as CEFEC, we are really happy to see all the partners just have, but also hopefully that we can enlarge this network and cooperate with more situations. I saw from Marinka, but a lot of nice people, Camila. Marinka, I am living at Trieste, and the border, my office, I'm 200 meters from Slovenia. So you are not a Nordic country, but I hope we will have the possibility to get in touch even in the real life. So from my side, thank you very much and hope to see you next year, as Jukka said.
Okay, for my side, thank you very much to everybody. I think we did a very good start, and for sure this kind of session will continue. As already Felicitas says that we are 7 countries here, and also Jukka mentioned, I think we are 8 countries because we have Slovenia as well. And it's very good to see everybody and all our friends and members, and greetings to all of you, and keep healthy. Definitely the questionnaire of evaluation of this event will come to you with the instruction about the links that we can find all the presentations and how the follow-up will go. I think Jukka already mentioned that we're gonna have follow-up, a conclusion and report of this event and send it to you. And we are looking to hear from you as well. So have a nice afternoon and thank you again. Jukka, you can have the final word.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody, and sorry for not having the sort of discussion time here at the end. We didn't want to sort of extend the first meeting for more than 2 hours. So I think this is just something. This is for the next ones, and as I mentioned, next ones will be having more focused teams. So it will be sort of around certain questions, and then of course you can decide on which ones you want to attend, and we'll also allow more room for the dialogue. Now that we know who's there, and we once you see the material, you can go through all the material and the survey. You'll be well prepared for the next one. So have a very nice sort of continuation of the autumn. Wait for the winter that probably never comes in this part of the world nowadays. And so good luck in your very important work.
Happy Social Enterprise Day, like Regita reminded us.
Especially,
happy to all of
that too.
Happy day to all of you.
Okay, so
thank
you. See you soon, and thanks.